Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So I made a poll asking you guys what you would like our next pick a card topic to be, and these were the results that we got. So today's reading is going to be predictions for your life while Saturn is in the sign of Pisces. As some of you guys may know, well, at the time that this is being filmed, Saturn has just moved into the sign of Pisces just a few days ago. And Saturn is going to stay here until February 2026. There is a period during that time where he will dip into Aries and then retrograde back into Pisces, but we are going to look at his whole span in the sign of Pisces. So I don't know when you guys are watching this, but if you are watching it around the time that it's posted, this will be a prediction for the next 3 years of your life. I like to think of Saturn, and I think many of us do, as like a stern teacher, a strict parent who really loves us and wants the best for us and wants us to have blessings, but also wants to discipline us and build our character. Saturn is not really a planet that spoils us or gives us handouts, but through the tests, through the trials and tribulations of life, he builds up our character. He makes us stronger, more patient, more responsible, wiser. He builds up our backbone so that we can go out there and get our blessings ourselves. And I feel like he employs tough love a lot of the time. So if he deems fit that we should face a certain challenge or that shit should hit the fan in our life because it's going to bring us an even better outcome or it's going to improve our character, he will let the stuff hit the fan. So oftentimes with Saturn transits, we can feel like we're being tested a lot in a certain area of life. We can feel restricted. We can feel stuck. It can just feel hard, but that struggle is always worth it in the end because Saturn doesn't put us through these difficult situations just to punish us. We will always get rewarded in the end. It is always for our highest good. So in this reading, I expect to see ways in which you will grow during this period, areas of your life that might challenge you, where you might feel stuck, maybe some painful realizations or some growing pains that are going on, but it's all for you to become the best version of yourself. So I think this is the first time I've done a reading for an astrological transit. I'm kind of excited. So anyway, let's get into your option selection. There are 3 moons for you to choose from today. I'm going to show you each of them up close one by one, and please pick whichever one or ones you feel drawn to the most. You're definitely welcome to watch 2 or even all 3 of these readings if you feel drawn to them. But without further ado, let's get a close-up look at each of your options. So for option number 1, we have this Rhodonite moon. For option number 2, we have this Druzy Agate moon. And for option number 3, we have this Angelite moon. Okay, so as always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi number ones, so if you guys chose this beautiful Rhodonite moon, this is going to be your reading all about the period that Saturn is in the sign of Pisces. We are using a lot of different decks today. We're gonna start off with some oracle cards, then get into the tarot, and then back into the oracle cards to get you guys a lot of messages. And I wanted to mention that all of the decks that we are going to be using today are available on Tarot Stack. If you guys haven't heard of them before, they are an online shop that has a wide range of indie tarot and oracle decks, and they also help indie deck creators release their projects. So we love what they do over here on this channel. If you guys want to support them, support the creators, and also support me and my channel, there's going to be affiliate links for all of the decks down below in the description. So without further ado, let's get right into it. We're going to start off with this Cosmovisions Oracle card, and this card is going to represent you and also represent a major theme of this time period, something that Saturn wants you to know about this time period. So for you guys, we have karma. This card is related to justice in tarot. So it looks like partnerships is going to be a big theme of this period for you. You guys could have Libra placements because this is a card associated with the sign of Libra. Or you may be Virgo risings, so that Saturn is passing through your 7th house of partnerships at this time. You could also be a Taurus rising, and then Saturn is passing through your 11th house. This number 11, it could also be like a life path 11, for example. But I want to actually read the guidebook. This deck is really cool. It's like based off of tarot, but it's a bit different, as you can see. So let's see what karma says. Honesty and restoring balance. Karma is universal justice. It can never be controlled and will always restore the balance in all things. It is at the core of why we are brought together with people in our lives. Karma is like a complex knot you spend your life trying to undo. We all start with an unknotted string, and as life goes on, we have more karmic debt to untie. Karma brings clarity and truth through cause and effect. It is invisible to the naked eye, but is what tips the scales and what morphs universal coincidences into cosmic enlightenment. Karma is a card that asks for brutal honesty. It is easy to convince yourself that you have not wronged, but we all have. It is a part of being human. Don't be afraid to try and mend broken relationships. The actions you take now will ripple far into the future. On the other side of it, if you feel you have been wronged, karma will eventually restore balance. In the end, it is always the ultimate truth that is rewarded in kind. Be truthful with yourself, others will be truthful with you. And this passage is on page 36, in case that's a relevant number for some of you. So a couple things I want to say for you guys, group number ones. During this period when Saturn is in Pisces, I feel that many of you will be rewarded with a partnership or with a type of partnership that you have been waiting a long time for. So for example, if you feel like you've been waiting forever to meet the right romantic partner, if you feel like you've been waiting forever to have a good group of friends, if you feel like you've been waiting forever to have a family or to find your soul family or to find good collaborators, good business partners, that type of partnership that you feel has been missing, you will be rewarded with this kind of relationship during the period that Saturn is in Pisces. I'm also feeling that you are putting an end to a certain undesirable pattern that you had continued to experience in relationships. It's like you're closing a cycle and you're releasing some kind of pattern. So for example, if you found that throughout your life, you somehow keep ending up with dealing with people who are emotionally unavailable, or dealing with people who can't own up to their mistakes, or dealing with people who are dishonest, you're breaking that pattern. You have a very pure heart, group number one. And I feel like during this 3-year period, anyone who doesn't have a pure heart has to go. So if there's anyone around you who doesn't have good intentions, they will be exiting your life. Now, if these people separate from you and they work on themselves and they purify their heart, Saturn is saying that they will have the chance to come back into your life if that is something that you want. So in this period, we could also be mending relationships with people who at the time we just weren't good for each other. At the time we just weren't ready for each other. But we've matured and we've become better people and we can give this another chance. I feel like you guys, group number one, you've always you've always moved through the world with honesty and integrity. I'm hearing that you're the type of person who will always do the right thing, even when no one is looking. So, for example, this may be a silly example, but like if you found money on the ground and nobody is around, you could easily just pocket that money. You still won't do it. And, apply that to other situations in your relationships. Even if no one's looking, even if you wouldn't get in trouble, you're still going to do the right thing because that is like your inner compass. And I'm also hearing that you will do the right thing even if it makes you unpopular or even if it isolates you. So for example, if you were in a workplace and everyone in the office gossips, they're always like, talking crap about the coworkers who aren't there, or talking crap about the boss, or just gossiping about other people. And if you don't partake in that, you will be left out. Like you'll have nothing to talk about with these people. You'll be lonely, or they'll think you're lame or something. Even so, you would not compromise your values. Like you will stay true to your integrity. And during this period that Saturn is in Pisces, you are going to be rewarded for this. I feel like up until now, perhaps choosing that path has led you to be unpopular or lonely in some way. Or keeping standards very high for your relationships has left you feeling like you've been waiting forever to find the right person. And so this patience and persistence and staying true to your values is going to pay off in a major way during this period. And I think that that's manifesting as you attracting the partnership or the type of partnerships that you have always wanted. Being surrounded with people who have a pure heart just like you. There's good karma coming around for you. You always do right even when no one is watching, but karma was watching. Good things are coming back around for you. And an example of this would be like, you find that money on the ground and you return, maybe you find a wallet and you return it to its owner. That owner of the wallet is so happy that you did the right thing and brought it back that maybe they actually give you some of the money. So you're getting good things, but through a pure way. And I also feel like you guys have always, you don't cut corners in your life. You really want to do everything right. And that is going to be rewarded during this period. I don't know why I'm doing this so often. I keep leaving the oracle cards for the reading in random parts of the room, but let's take a look at some more oracle cards now. Okay, so from the Ocean Dreams Oracle, yeah, look at this. So literal, so perfect for what we were talking about. We have familiar hearts. Whales are coming through, or more specifically, beluga whales are coming through as a spirit animal for you guys. There's a lot of white shades. No, I don't think white is a shade, but whatever. It is a color that makes me think of purity. And I'm also noticing that there's a barely waning crescent moon in the background. So I think for you guys at the time that you're watching this, it is just the beginning of these blessings, but some of you may have already felt them start to trickle in. You may have met someone recently who gives you a very, very good feeling, and Saturn is confirming that this partnership is a reward for you. You are closing off cycles with karmic partners, and you're bringing in beautiful soul connections that make you feel warm on the inside is how it's coming through. Wow, it matches so well with what we're talking about. People who have a pure heart just like you are coming your way. They will come to find you. And I'm also thinking the number 11, the 11th house, that's like your circle of friends. That's your community. So these pure hearts surrounding you, it goes beyond just one-on-one personal relationships, and it's really speaking of the community, the larger community that you will find yourself in. I feel like that sometimes with this community, like everyone is just so sweet. Everyone is just such beautiful souls. I think we have a really nice community here. So you're going to feel that warmth all around you. We also have stairway with the number 12. So some of you guys, wait, if Saturn would be in your 12th house, you would be in Aries rising. Is that? Yeah, I think that is right. So some of you guys could be Aries risings. Let's look at this one too. Look, freaking look, connect. So big energy surrounding partnerships coming your way. And with stairway, I feel like this is partnerships that, there we go, that build you up. That build you up and that support you in the pursuit of your dreams. And these are also people who are deeply spiritual, so that you may show all of your sides to them. You can show your soft side, your sensitive side, your spiritual side. You can discuss your spiritual experiences and spiritual perspectives, because I feel like group number 1, this is a very big part of you. If you are talking about the story of your life, and for someone to really get it and feel it and resonate with it, it's almost like they need to have this kind of spiritual awareness. I can imagine you talking about your life story and, saying things like, I went through my dark night of the soul when I was this age, and then I received this download that I needed to do this. Or, I had a karmic partner for this time, and then I met my twin flame. And it's important to speak about it like this, because that's the way that it is the most meaningful to you. Sure, you could put it in more, 3D terms, but it won't really paint the whole picture. And so to have people around you who are spiritual and who not only understand what you're saying, but understand that emotional and spiritual process that you went through, and can provide their own insights, their own perspective of it, their own encouragement. That's going to be something really beautiful for you guys. And with this connect card, all of these eyes, there's a couple things that I tend to pick up from this. For one, I feel that the type of partnerships you're having during this time are aspirational for a lot of people. So it's like everyone is looking at you or looking up to you. You can think of this as couple goals, friendship goals, partnership goals. But I also think that these eyes are the eyes of angels that are protecting you. But there's a feeling, definitely a feeling with the stairway, of building each other up. There's also a feeling that when you're surrounded by the right people, there's like a feeling of urgency, a feeling of stress, a feeling of restlessness that was kind of lodged deep in you that will melt away. And you no longer feel a need to restlessly chase things. You no longer feel a need to rush anywhere. When you're with the right people, you can just slow down. I'm not looking for anything because it's all here. I'm not chasing anything because it's all here. And you can just feel content with where you are. And you can just drift through the world peacefully like a beluga whale. Okay, so let's get into your tarot now. This is a really sweet reading so far. I just saw 1515, by the way. A Capricorn person could be significant because 15 is like the number of the devil in tarot, which is Capricorn. A Pisces person could be significant as well because 12 is the number of the hanged man, which is Pisces. I notice I've been mentioning I mentioned Aries and Libra as well. So we are using the Soul Tarot for this next part. So this next part of the reading, it could be elaborating on things we already spoke about here or adding new information about this period. What can group number 1 expect during this period that Saturn is in Pisces? We have the 7 of Wands, we have the Knight of Pentacles in, well, no, I'm taking them all in the upright. Let's just do it how I usually do it. We have the 3 of Cups. And the Tower. Interesting. And then at the bottom of the deck, I cannot make this up, you guys. We have the 2 of Cups, which is a card of relationships, but more specifically, relationships with harmony and reciprocity. It is a big sign of soulmate relationships. What can I say, group number 1? It is a resounding message that you are being very blessed in the relationship department during this 3-year period. This is like the bottom of the deck card. I use it as sort of the overarching energy of the whole spread. So it's very, very clear that we're manifesting some beautiful relationships during this time. Another thing that I see for you guys, group number 1, this is another reward coming to you. There is a goal that you guys have been working towards, but it has felt like an uphill battle for you. With the 7 of Wands, this is like a real tough battle, a real tough fight. There's some goal that you have been working on, and I feel like for some of you it is a career goal or like a business goal. I also think for others of you it's something more about like your personal growth or development or health. Like it could be you've been working really hard to get healthy. You've been working really hard to break a bad habit or an addiction. You've been working really hard to build some kind of good habit. Like achieve a personal or professional goal. But it has really felt like 1 step forward, 2 steps back for a long time. So that in itself is disheartening, right? But I also feel like you didn't get a lot of support from the people around you in accomplishing this goal or even just like sticking to this goal. So this is just one example, but let's say you really wanted to quit drinking, but it was difficult. Like you kept kind of falling back to it, or there was like this social pressure when you're out with people. So already that's difficult, right? But what I'm being shown is that on top of that, the people around you would be like, oh, come on, like, it's fine. You can have 1 drink, or like, why do you even want to quit drinking anyway? It's like people didn't get the goal that you were working towards or didn't support it. Maybe you had a goal of starting your own business and people were like, oh, 90% of businesses fail anyway. Or like, I don't know if that's a really good idea. Just unsupportive. I think you guys get the picture. Just unsupportive of the goal you were trying to reach, unsupportive of the habit you were trying to break or build. It's hard enough on your own, but then it's even harder when people around you don't support you. And what I'm seeing for you guys, and I'm getting a bit emotional, is that you kept going. Even when it felt like you would take one step of progress and then fall back 15 steps. Even when your success was not linear, when there was a lot of up and downs, you just kept your head down and you just kept going because something deep down told you, like, this is the right thing to do. Yeah, it's like, even when no one is looking, you could have had people around you being like, oh, it's fine. Like, you know, just break the habit, just give up. And it's probably because they want to feel better for not getting their stuff together. But that never deterred you and you kept going. And so there is a reward during this period of you realizing this goal, of you successfully building or breaking this habit, of you getting healthy that you have worked on for a very long time. And that could be physically healthy, mentally healthy, spiritually healthy. You have always been committed to yourself, and that will be rewarded. So that's one thing that I see here. You are building a very stable life for yourself, or you have been, I should say. It may not have felt stable while you were building towards it. In fact, it might have felt quite chaotic. But the result of you not giving up is a stable and secure life. You know, like, just for one example, in the early stages of building a business, your income can be very up and down. There could be 1 month where you do really well, and then 1 month like where you make nothing. It's unstable at first, but if you keep going and you build that foundation, then you will reach a place where your levels are stable. That's what you're building in your life, stability and security. And your sense of purpose is really being reaffirmed. I feel that Saturn will continuously confirm to you that you have been doing the right thing, that you have been on the right path. I'm also just noticing this now, and I'm surprised it took me so long to think of this, but the Justice card can also talk about like legal issues, justice being served in legal issues. And legal battles can be quite messy too. So, you know, you might feel like you're making progress, and then it drags on for months or years. So during this period, if you've been in like a really long going legal battle, maybe like a divorce or a lawsuit or whatever it might be, I feel like things are finally going to wrap up in your favor. Even if the opinions were against you at some point, you stayed committed to what you knew was right and what you knew you deserved, and things are going to turn out in your favor. Yeah. Now, with this 3 of Cups and the Tower, there was that message about those who don't have a pure heart would no longer be in your life. And with these 2 cards here, I'm being shown that you might be surprised with who gets taken away. Some people, it might be obvious, and this is maybe not such a happy message, but I feel like during this period, there may be a falling out with someone you considered to be a very good friend. With this 3 of Cups next to the Tower, this is friendships, this is things, the rug getting pulled from under your feet, things suddenly falling apart, and you're left almost like shocked, not knowing what happened, not knowing where to go from here. Just one thing to remember in this period is that anyone or anything that's being taken away from you, it is for your highest good. There's a feeling of being surprised, like, I didn't know that this friend or that this person would be one that gets taken away or one that has bad intentions. But it seems like there's someone who was like talking some stuff behind your back, maybe saying negative things about you, or maybe revealing a secret that you told them. They're talking, and they can't be trusted, because it's like they value the attention that they get from talking about you more than respecting your relationship. So that's going to be basically put on blast during this period. Yeah, and it seems tough. Like, tower moments are quite tough. For some of you, this could also be knowing that, like, if I want to reach my full potential, if I want to be healthy, if I want to stay true to myself, I need to leave this group or community behind. That could be very difficult. Sometimes the tower, sometimes it can show we're shocked that it happened. Other times it can show we're shocked that it happened so soon. You know, like, even if deep down you know, like, this friend's been kind of iffy for a while, sometimes we just don't expect things to fall apart so soon or to change so soon, and that can be the shock. So for some of you, it could also just be the timing of it or the way that it happens, but there's that feeling of like some friend has to go, or you have to go from some group. It's kind of a harsh message, but that's just how it's coming out. But at the end of the day, we have this Two of Cups as your bottom of the deck energy. So I know that by the end of this period, you will be with the warmest, most loving, caring soulmates who make you feel very safe and who would never go behind your back. And it's funny, I even had this moment of thinking earlier, the fact that you are back to back and there's this heart here, it's like, I know that I can, you know how you like wear your heart on your sleeve? This is like, I know that I can wear my heart on my back because you would never stab it. Kind of weird, but when I saw them back to back, I was like, oh, so they don't backstab each other, and they have nothing to hide from each other. They have nothing to hide behind their back because their backs are together. Yeah. With that being said, I see you guys being in a very close circle, a close circle of loved ones, where it's like, if you told someone a secret, it's like, who am I gonna go tell? Like, our 3 other friends who you probably already told. It's like, you, in this next chapter of your life, you don't have to worry about secrets or shadows or dark parts of you being exposed, because you're already with people who see all of that and love all of it anyway. There is nothing to hide. But at the same time, remember, at the same time that some might be leaving your life, some might be coming back after being away for quite some time. Apologies may be exchanged. Someone may come back to apologize to you because they've done reflection and they've purified their heart, like we spoke about before. Someone coming back to apologize to you. You might be apologizing to someone. And if you wanted to resume a relationship with this person, that will be possible during this period. You certainly don't have to if that's not something you're interested in, but I do feel like hearing that apology or giving that apology and feeling that energy of forgiveness will be a really nice closure. Yeah, even if it's just like, I'm sorry, thank you for saying that, I accept your apology, and now we go our separate ways again. Even that, I think, will just feel like a relief. But there will be the opportunity to mend relationships and keep them in your life if that is something that you want. Okay, so let's take a look at our final, they go this way, I think, final oracle cards for any last messages, advice, whatever Saturn would like you to know. So from the Celestial Bodies Oracle, we have Gemini. I feel like I've named a lot of zodiac signs, but you know. We said, yeah, Saturn could also be passing through your 3rd house, which would make you Capricorn rising, which came out before as well. And we have trust, faith in the power of the universe. If you have placements in Gemini, Saturn would be squaring them during this time. So you might find that your Gemini placements or your Gemini house is kind of challenged during this time in some way. Yeah. We have the love within you is infinite, share it freely with the world. So again, there's this feeling of like the people you're around, you trust them so deeply that you don't need to hide anything. You don't need to hold back anything. You don't need to be cautious. That a feeling of always having to look over your shoulder, or that feeling of like flinching, that feeling of being in danger, that feeling of needing to run away is melting away. There's a feeling of I can settle here. I am safe here. You can just be completely naked like this person, completely exposed, completely open. You have built, through staying authentic to yourself, you have essentially created a safe space for these partnerships to happen. What did the guidebook say? Be truthful with yourself, others will be truthful with you. So when you stay true to yourself, you attract those who stay true to you. Or they're true to the true you because they can see the true you. Or to put it in a different way, if you show someone who they really, why can't I talk right now? If you show someone who you really are, that is the way that they can love you for who you really are. People can't love the real you if you don't be the real you, if you don't show the real you. Wow. And then we have being yourself is sacred. One thing I have noticed for this group is that the cards are really literal, and they seem to very like straightforwardly reflect things that I was just talking about. And that might be a style that your guides communicate to you. So like, for example, you could be driving with your friend in the car and you're talking, you're like, I don't know if I should do it. Should I do it? And then you look up and there's like a Nike billboard and it says, just do it. If they even still use that. And like your question would get answered right away through a sign from your guides, you know, or you're like, what do you think about this person I just met? Like he's a Libra, like he seems pretty nice. I don't know. And then like you see some brand name, it's called like Libra dry cleaning or something like that. It confirms the thing you were just talking about. I also want to say with this card that as you become healthier from the inside, and I think for you guys, a lot of your health has to do with being authentic to yourself. You might notice that, I don't know, DNA just always makes me think of like body is changing, physical appearance is changing, or like you're activating some new DNA. You might find that your body regenerates a lot quicker, almost like you're activating some kind of physical superpower. You might find that you're getting sick a lot less during this period. If you work out, you recover from the workouts faster and you get stronger from them than you did before. You may find that your digestion is improving, your skin is improving, but there might be a kind of purging that happens first. You know, like when you regenerate skin, all of the crap that was like a few layers below has to purge out. If you're like a dermatologist, I might sound really dumb right now, but all the dirt that was like in the lower layers has to get pushed out first, and then the pretty skin comes out. I think it works that way. So there could be like some kind of purging in your health or in your physical appearance, and then you start to be radiant. You could also find that your hair and nails start to grow faster. Your eyelashes are thicker. You're just like glowing and regenerating. And like your physical body feels abundant and strong. Yeah. So my group number ones, this was your reading for Saturn in Pisces. I hope that you enjoyed it. It was my first time doing something like this, but I think we had a good time. Let me know how it resonated. Thank you very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. And remember, if you enjoyed any of these decks, you can find them linked down below. Thank you so much to Tarot Stack for making my deck collection so beautiful, and thank you to the creators of these decks as well. It's always a pleasure to use these decks. If you guys enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, you can check out my pick a cards on Instagram, many of which are timeless. You can check out my pick a card videos on Patreon, which are just like these, except you get to pick the topic for them. You can also check out my music channel, which actually includes the intro song of these videos. That is an original song. You can check out my vlog channel, which is KINO Vlogs, and you can check out my merch at kinotarot.com. We have the floating temple that was at the start of this video on hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, and tote bags. So I know that's a lot of stuff. Everything I just mentioned is going to be linked down below for you in the description, as well as in the pinned comment of this video. Thank you so much for supporting me and for supporting my channel. It truly means a lot to me. Group number ones, I'm sending so much love to you and to your beautiful heart and to your partner and soulmates who also have beautiful hearts. And I'm also sending love to those who maybe hurt you and who need to heal and who need to get better. I send love to them too. And I am sending love to your spirit guides, your guardian angels, your whole spiritual team, both here on Earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi number twos, so if you guys chose the Druzy Agate moon, this is going to be your reading all about the period that Saturn is in the sign of Pisces. We have a lot of decks to use today. I'm going to start off with some oracle cards, then we're going to move into the tarot, and then back into some oracle cards at the very end. And I wanted to mention that all of the decks that we are going to be using today are available at Tarot Stack. If you guys haven't heard of them before, they're an online shop that carries a wide range of indie tarot and oracle decks, and they also support indie deck creators in releasing their projects. So we love what they do over here on this channel. If you guys want to support them, support the creators, and support this channel, I'm gonna have affiliate links for all of these decks listed down below in the description. But without further ado, let's get right into your reading. I wanted to start by sharing something that just came to me intuitively. During this 3-year period, group number 2, I see that many of you are spending a lot of time studying. And it's very interesting because I see you specifically studying with like paper notes. So you could be like reading a textbook and taking notes, or watching a video and taking notes, but there is a very specific visual of you taking notes on paper or having some kind of notebook. You could also be filling a lot of pages of a notebook or a sketchbook or something like that. I just see you hunched over a book and you're like really, really into something. You could be studying for exams, for school, to get a certain qualification or certificate, or you could just be studying something because you are very, very interested in it, but it's like you're in a trance. You're so into this thing. And I had this image of people like texting you, inviting you places, and you're like, I can't, I'm studying, and you're like super into it. And it's kind of a combination of, it's some kind of obligation that you feel, but you also are really interested in it and you're doing it of your own volition. Yeah, so I wanted to share that with you guys, but let's get into the cards now. We're gonna start off with this card from the Cosmovisions Oracle. This card is going to represent you and also a major theme of this period that Saturn wants to bring to your attention. So we have the Commander, I'm gonna look at the guidebook for this because this deck is sort of based off of tarot, but a lot of the cards look different, and so I'm not super familiar with it yet. This card, okay, so we have the Commander here. It's on page 107, in case this is a relevant number for you guys. And the Mirror card is the King of Pentacles. Okay, resourceful, controlling. Heavy metal boots press firmly into the ground beneath the many-faced commander, who exudes an unshakable firmness reminiscent to that of the Emperor. Dressed in excessive armor, the body of the commander is heavily protected. Feeling secure and confident, they offer direction with a boldness so fierce it cannot be questioned. If you have pulled the commander into a reading, you are channeling an energy of determination that will go unmatched. The commander is resourceful and grounded, which leads them to being quite successful in matters of work and finance. Be careful not to fall into the belief that all that is important can be seen with the eyes. Be malleable, give room for your heart to speak. Wow. Okay. Before we get into this, a couple little specific things I thought could be significant. When I read heavy metal boots, I thought of like heavy metal music, so that could be significant for some of you guys. And also, like, being dressed in armor sometimes makes me think of bulking up. So some of you guys could be like putting on muscle or getting into like weight training or muscle training during this period. Like building, I think there's a feeling of building yourself up, like professionally, intellectually, but you could also be building yourself up physically, like gaining muscle, becoming physically stronger. So you are coming through as the King of Pentacles, which is very amazing. I love to see that. I feel like during this 3-year period, you guys are going to be working very hard. It's interesting that I had that image of someone studying very hard. You're working hard towards a goal, but in the process, you are learning a lot. And it could be something where you're learning as you go. It's like there's a goal you want to achieve, but you don't have a lot of knowledge or experience yet, but you're just going for it and learning the things as you go, which I firmly believe is the right way to do it. By the end of this 3-year period, you are going to be blessed with money, with financial gain, and with recognition, respect, and admiration. Whatever it is that you're immersing yourself in for the next 3 years, Saturn is promising, or affirming, I should say, affirming that you will become one of the best. And that is very impressive. Some of you guys, like, you're literally starting this now, and by the end of 3 years, within 3 years, you will be an expert, which I find super impressive. Others of you, maybe you have already been working on something for quite some time, but in the next 3 years, you're seeing a lot of progress. You're seeing yourself become more knowledgeable, more sure of yourself in this field, and really becoming like one of the best. I want to say like one of the top names. Depending on your field, it could apply that you are in high demand. Well, actually, that could be for any field. Like if you're a business person, like a lot of people want to be your customer. Or if you're an employee, it's like any company would want to hire you. Anyone would seek after you. You are in high demand because you're an expert, because you're the best of the best at what you do. And that is really just a product of all of your hard work paying off. With controlling here, I don't really get a negative feeling from the word controlling. I feel like this is more you guys taking back control of your life and also taking back control of your focus and attention. So if you're the type of person who gets easily distracted, or like if you just lose steam quickly when you're working on something, you know, like, oh, I opened my laptop to study and now I'm like 3 hours down a rabbit hole on YouTube of like satisfying slime videos or something like that. It happens to the best of us sometimes. Or if you just kind of feel like time gets away from you. time gets away from you. You can never seem to get the stuff done that you wanted to do. Your energy just seems to escape from you. I feel like over the next 3 years, you're really gaining a control over your time and energy and focus. And you're developing a really good relationship of trust with yourself, where when you set out a plan for the day, like this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to achieve, you follow through with it. And that comes from you committing and showing up for yourself and like keeping your word to yourself. But also, you know, sometimes there's external factors that take away our time and energy. And I feel like to a great extent, that is going to be solved. That is going to be solved in this period. Kind of a weird example that's coming to my mind, but let's say you live in a really old house and then like you want to work on these things, but like every week something in your house is breaking and then you have to worry about fixing it, like fixing it yourself or calling a repairman, and then you have to spend money and that sets you back. In that example, maybe we're moving to a new house where things don't break. So, you know, sometimes we steal time from ourselves by getting distracted, such as the slime video example. Other times external factors steal time from us and there's really nothing we can do. But I just feel like all the time that you want, all the resources that you want, they're coming back to you and you get to control how they are used. In these next 3 years, those of you who have debts or loans, I feel like you will be paying them off. You'll be free from that worry. Some financial burden is like going away. Because it's like everything you have, you can use it on yourself now. You get to control where this energy goes. You get to control where this focus goes. And many of you are going to become successful with the time and resources that you already have if you just use them wisely, if you use them in a smart way. So we're going from this mindset of, I don't have enough time, to I have all the time I need. I control how this time is used and I'm going to use it in a smart way. You'll find that you have more than you need if you are resourceful with it. So it really seems like during this period, like you're buckling down, you're showing up, you're following through with what you say you're going to do, and you're going to make immense progress. You're going to become an expert in your field, someone who is highly sought after. You're going to be rewarded financially for sure. So this is payoff for your hard work. You are the commander of your life during these 3 years. I should also say that, you know, there's some periods of our life where we really just feel like we're at the mercy of fate, where a lot of things happening that are out of our control. And I feel like during this period, your free will is like in the driver's seat. So it's not just like random things out of your control are happening and you just have to deal with it. You feel very in control of your life during this time. That's awesome. Okay, so let's look at some more oracle cards. From the Ocean Dreams Oracle, we have Inner Alchemy. Very interesting. There's a really strong like contrast between these two cards. We have this person looking really fierce and robust and rough and we're suited up. And then this person is like exposed, right? First of all, they're nude and they look very like soft and vulnerable. They're lying down. I'm feeling like Saturn wants you to recognize that you deserve this position. There's a feeling of, on the outside, okay, how do I describe this? As you transition to this expert and highly successful person, it's gonna feel uncomfortable for some time because you don't feel that way on the inside. And no amount of external validation or external praise can make up for a lack of confidence on the inside. So something that might happen for you guys during this period is that, like, you're going from feeling unsuccessful and feeling insecure, and you have this idea that, like, when I become successful, then I will be secure. But then you go from feeling unsuccessful to feeling successful but still insecure on the inside, if that makes sense. It could, maybe an easy way of putting it is like a sort of imposter syndrome that will be going on. And maybe one of the tough lessons that you are learning during this period is that no amount of external validation can be a substitute for your own internal validation. External validation is definitely, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it doesn't matter at all. It feels very good. It feels very good. It can serve as reassurance that we're on the right path sometimes. And it can be like an icing on the cake, right? But it is never a substitute for our internal validation. And so I think there's going to be a point during this period where you've reached all of your goals externally and yet you still don't feel good. And that's going to be very uncomfortable because you're like, I did all the things that I thought I was supposed to do to be happy, but it still feels like something is off inside me. And that's when you'll realize you have to go within to heal something. And I'm actually being told as I'm talking about this that this is something you can avoid if you're doing inner shadow work right now. But if you ignore your inner shadow work, then you can become as successful as you want and as in high demand as you want, but that's not going to fix internal wounds. So I guess what Saturn wants to tell you is you're doing a lot of work on yourself externally, just don't forget about the internal stuff. It's interesting too that there is that message about like building yourself up physically. Like some of you guys might be going through a physical transformation as well, but you realize that that as well is not what makes you confident or what makes you love yourself in your skin. It comes from something deeper. And there was even a message, something about don't forget your heart. Yeah, be malleable, give room for your heart to speak. Just remember, don't forget to go within. As you're trying to make it out there in the world, don't forget to go within and don't forget to listen to your heart. Let's look at some of the next cards. Let's look at the Pixie Oracle. Wow. We have Shadow Magic. Yep, so shadow work is happening. We have the number 9, which makes me think about closing off cycles. It makes me think about healing, spiritual advancement, and spiritual growth. Honestly, this period might be kind of overwhelming for you guys because making it out there in the world takes a lot of work, and making things right within yourself takes a lot of work. And it almost feels like this period is asking of you, like you have to do both at the same time. And so there will be times where you're really hurting, but you have to just like put on a brave face and go out and achieve your goals and do your work. And then there's going to be other times where you're trying to rest, you're trying to relax, you're trying to go within, but your mind is wandering to all the things you have to do. So it's tough to do both at the same time, but for some reason you are. And we need to find balance between these two energies because both of these are you. This tough, burly, strong commander is you, and this soft, vulnerable pearl is also you. And it's hard to work on them both at the same time. It's hard to find a balance between them. It's hard to find a place where they can coexist. Because sometimes the commander thinks that this pearl shouldn't be there, and sometimes this pearl thinks that the commander shouldn't be there. But they're both supposed to be there. This could be a period where you're realizing that it's like a this and that are true kind of message. I am not this way or that way. I am both. I'm not introverted or extroverted. I am both. I'm not masculine or feminine. I'm both. I'm not materially driven or spiritually driven. I'm both. Like, it's not just one or the other. And we're learning how to allow different aspects of ourselves that are seemingly contradictory to balance each other out and to coexist. And it's interesting too, I'm being reminded of something that was in the guidebook. In this guidebook, it goes through like the major arcana and then the minor arcana, but the court cards are at the very end. And it says, you are not one but all. The 16 identities speak to ourselves. You are not one of these identities but all. Some of us have more of these identities active at a single time and others exhibit only a few. Yours may change depending on the situation, time, or place. When you see one come up in a reading, it's a strong indicator of your personality in the current situation. When you see many, it may suggest that you have different feelings about the situation, or it may allude to a harmonious balance. The 16 beings create the bridge between the four suits. These are, in this deck, these are the court cards transformed. So each and every one of us has all of the 16 court cards within us. Each and every one of us has all 12 zodiac signs within us. Each and every one of us has masculine and feminine energy. And you are both of these. But sometimes the different parts of us get scared or feel threatened when another aspect of us is emerging because we think that it means there's less space for us to exist or they're going to threaten our existence. This soft part of you might fear the more assertive, aggressive, dominating, controlling side of you. And this side of you might fear the sensitive, fluid, flexible side of you. But they're both valid and they can both not just exist at the same time, but help each other. Alchemy is about transforming the energies into something that serves you. Both of these are you. And I think through the introspection that you'll be engaging in, that you'll be doing during this period, you will find a lot of kind of uncomfortable, like this part of me contradicts that part of me. But Saturn is challenging you to recognize that both are you, that all are you, and to allow them all to exist. There is magic in the shadows. There's magic in some parts of you that you've been hiding away. There's an aspect of you that you're perhaps suppressing because you learned that it was bad or you were told that it was bad. And during this period, that aspect of you wants to come back out. Just one example. So I'm not saying like this has to be your situation, but just to kind of illustrate what I'm saying in an easier way. If you had a parent who was like very domineering, very bossy, very controlling, then you will probably want to repel from that. Or not probably, just maybe in this example. You will maybe want to repel from that. You will see that as bad because that type of personality hurt you. So the aspect within you that wants to be dominant, not like domineering, but dominant, that wants to have control, not be controlling, but have control. The part of you that wants to be assertive, the part of you that wants to take charge, you might reject that part of you because you have all of these negative associations with it. Or if growing up you were punished or shamed when you tried to take charge, when you were assertive, maybe you were called selfish, maybe you were called stubborn, you were called bossy, you were called inconsiderate, whatever it is. It's like you've put these negative labels all over a certain part of you. And Saturn wants to bring that part of you back and shine the light on it and finally show it to you in a positive way. But you have to be willing to see it, and it's going to be uncomfortable while you work through those negative associations. It like reminds you of a part of you that you want to pretend doesn't exist. But all of those qualities can be employed in a very positive way. There's magic in the shadow. And yes, it's like you're alchemizing it, you're transforming it into something good. You might spend a lot of time alone during this period. This person looks very solitary, and the number 9 made me think of the Hermit in tarot, because that's the Hermit's number. And that's also a card about introspection, spiritual journey. Let's look at the Vessel Oracle and see what we have. We have release. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of healing going on. I was talking about this in group 1 as well, but if you drink, some of you guys might be like quitting drinking during this period or going on some kind of detoxing something from your body. You could also be, and I'm just want to like do a disclaimer that I'm not advising anyone to do stuff medically, but you could be getting the green light to like go off a treatment or go off a medication. Like you don't need it anymore. I'm not saying stop it if you're on something, but that might be something that you get the green light to do by a professional during this period. I also see you're spending less time in like cities or industrial areas and spending more time in nature. Maybe this is a place where you can clear your head. You could be moving homes or moving offices to somewhere that's greener. There's a greener view outside, or there's more plants around. You hear like the sound of birds and rustling leaves instead of like cars honking and random drunk people screaming. As someone living in Tokyo. Oh, and there's literally a car honking outside right now. But yeah, this to me looks like healing and also releasing. This is gonna sound kind of gross. But I've heard, I like don't throw up because I just can't. I'm too scared. But I've heard from some people that when you do it, it feels gross in the moment, but then you feel so much better after because you're like holding it in. Personally, I just sit there and hold it in and feel gross. But anyway, sorry to talk about something so gross like that. But I was just thinking, holding in that aspect of you probably feels very bad. And if you just let it out, let that part of yourself come out, it will feel so much better. It's like holding in bodily functions feels bad, right? You want to get it out of your body. And it's the same thing with aspects of you. And yeah, and I'm just realizing that's why we shouldn't say like, oh, I don't like Scorpios. I don't like this zodiac sign. Because like, you are literally every zodiac sign. So if you are gonna like talk down on some aspect of the cosmic energy, then you're talking down on yourself too, which we don't want to do. Some part of you wants to come out, and all parts of you want to be embraced. And they will all work together. Saturn needs you to trust that. It's like right now you don't trust that. You think that the different parts of you are going to fight. And they might fight until they get used to each other. And learn, it's kind of a dumb example, but it's like when you bring a new kitten into the house and the cat who is already there hates them for a while, and then they get used to each other and they get along. I think they're just scared, you know? For example, in that previous example, you might hate that dominant or aggressive or assertive part of you at first because you're afraid of it. You're afraid of what it could do. But you'll realize that all the parts of you are here to help you. They're all here to serve you in some way if you use them well. Like the resourcefulness of the King of Pentacles, using the different aspects of your personality in a way that propels you forward. Because there's light in every quality and there's dark in every quality, but you can choose to use it in a positive way. Okay, so let's get into your tarot now. We're going to use the Soul Tarot for this part, and here we could be elaborating on these energies, or we could be bringing in some completely new energies into the mix. What can group number 2 expect during the time that Saturn is in Pisces? We have the 10 of Wands. Ooh, okay. We have the 2 of Wands. Oh, wow. Okay. The 9 of Wands. And the 9 of Swords. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the King of Pentacles. So same as the Commander. You have the King of Pentacles showing up twice in this reading. I'm going to drink some water. I like to think of the bottom of the deck energy as like the most important card in the spread, or the sort of overarching energy over the spread. And so I think the most important thing for you guys is to remind you that you are this King of Pentacles. I want to tell this group that you are destined for success. You may reach the peak of your success at a later age than what you had originally wanted for yourself, or at an age that is deemed late, with heavy finger quotes, by society. There may have been times in your life where you looked around and other people who were your age or younger than you were getting stuff done, and you're like, why am I not there yet? But Saturn wants you to know that it's worth the wait, and the timing of everything was very much for a reason. Reaching success when you're young is great, but sometimes when you're younger, you are more naive. And maybe you're not doing things for the right reasons. Maybe you don't fully know who you are yet. And so you're pursuing a path that is out of alignment. And I think that a lot of the time, just naturally, as you gain more years under your belt, you become more sure of who you are and what really matters to you. You're less easily deceived, taken advantage of. You're less easily swayed because it's not your first time around the block. Your values are like cemented more, and you can do things with like more sense of direction. I'm not saying that's the case for everyone, because age is not always an indicator of like wisdom and maturity and confidence and things like that. There's probably people who are younger than me and have it way more together. But I guess what I want to say is like, age is a kind of arbitrary standard for like when you should reach certain successes and when you should have things figured out. You should reach things at a time that works for you personally in your life. So, I don't know, just some examples of this would be like maybe you graduate college at 30 when like the typical heavy finger quote age is like 21, 22 or something. Maybe you get married at 40 when the, you get it, finger quotes, acceptable age is like your 20s or your 30s. So you're gonna realize that doing things later is very, very fine. And you'll come to realize that the years that you have under your belt now were actually a great advantage. And you'll be like, thank God I didn't get this blessing sooner, because I wouldn't have known what to do with it, or I would have just like gone the wrong way with it. You'll really feel that things always do come at the right time. But this card is emphasizing your success, your hard work paying off. You're going to be very wise with your money, or you have been very wise with your money. So you'll have really good savings by the end of this period. You'll feel very secure. If you have a family to take care of, they will be well taken care of as well. Some of you are welcoming children during this period, or even grandchildren. Or there's just an emphasis on like your descendants are taken care of. Maybe some of you are like putting your children through school, and that's really like, you're really proud that you're able to provide in that way. But Saturn definitely wants you to know that your family and loved ones will be cared for as well. We have a lot of fire sign energy here. These are Sagittarius, so 2 Sag, and Aries. And we also have a bit of Gemini here. More specifically, this is Saturn in Sagittarius, Moon in Sagittarius, Mars in Aries, and Mars in Gemini, I'm pretty sure. One day I'll get them quickly. But these two cards seem interesting to me because the 10 of Wands means that we have too much on our plate. We're working too hard. Like this burden that we're carrying, it's going to break our back. Like we're working so much. And the 2 of Wands has to do with partnerships, or that's one of the meanings. So as you go on this journey becoming the King of Pentacles, I think that you're going to meet a very significant business partner or coworker or collaborator who is your equal. You share the same values and work ethic. You share the same ambition, I'm hearing like the same curious and adventurous spirit, and the same belief that anything is possible. And you also have the same sense of humor. And I feel like when you meet each other, you're both going to be exhausted. You're both going to be very exhausted, very, very busy. But you know what is so interesting? What's coming to me, and this goes all the way back to the start of the reading, where I had that image of you guys like studying really hard, and someone texted, like invited you to hang out, and you were like, no, I can't, I'm studying. Underneath you declining that invitation, there's a feeling of like, I'm too tired for social interaction right now because I'm working so hard. I'm too drained to go and socialize right now. It's going to tire me out. And then you meet this partner and you find yourself after a long day of work wanting to go hang out with them. Like you will work together for, I don't know, 10 hours or something. And then they'll be like, hey, you want to go grab dinner? And you're like, yeah, I'd love to. You just go for dinner and talk for another 3 hours. Whereas in the past, you would be like, I've just worked 10 hours. I'm freaking drained. I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to see anyone. Like, I don't have the energy to socialize. Saturn is kind of hinting that maybe it was, it's kind of harsh if I say it, maybe it was an issue with the company, like the quality of the company, the people around you. Because there's this feeling of when you link up with this person, social interaction fuels you. Some of you guys who have identified as introverts, I feel like that's being challenged. Or you're realizing like, yeah, I'm an introvert, but when I'm with the right type of person, I become very fueled. I become very energetic. And there's this kind of feeling of like, I didn't know that social interaction could leave me feeling this good, feeling this uplifted, feeling this charged up. I feel like I just slept for 8 hours. I feel like fully rested and ready to go. And I feel like that sometimes when I read for you guys. Like my brain thinks, oh, I'm about to do a long reading. I'm going to be so tired. And then I come out of the reading feeling super revved up because it's you guys that I'm connecting to who it's like, we have a good vibe going together. So that's the type of partner that's coming your way. Even after a long, hard day's work with them, like you are still happy to be around them. You're still happy to go out. This is a very active energy too, because it's like it's Mars in Aries. So super awesome partnership coming in. And it's like you were both waiting for each other. You were both looking for each other because you're coming into each other's lives at a time where you're both overwhelmed, exhausted. You have so much on your plate. But when you join forces, you can work together so well. And this partnership coming in is going to make it so that you don't have to let go of something. Okay, how do I give an example for that? It's like, okay, let's say you're working, you're going to school, and you're also going to the gym because that's your hobby and you love doing it and it relieves your stress. So you have a really full schedule. But then like work is starting to get really, really busy. And so you're like, man, like I'm going to have to stop going to the gym as often. Like maybe I can only go like 1 day a week instead of 3 days a week. Or like maybe I have to cancel my membership because I'm just so busy and like I haven't been being able to get to the gym. And you're like really bummed out because like you don't want to cancel your membership, but it's like you just don't have enough time in the day. And then when you partner up with this person and you kind of share each other's load, it makes it so that you don't have to cancel the gym. So that's just one example, but like you don't have to let go of any hobbies or let go of any aspect of your life. And that's the number 9. It's very, wow, we have 3 9s, 999. It's very well-rounded. You have a well-rounded, balanced life. You don't have to sacrifice any part of your life to make another part work. So yeah, this like you guys really help each other out. You really make life easier for each other and uplift each other. I know for sure that this is a work relationship and a friendship. I mean, I don't really get a romantic vibe, no. But I mean, who knows? Who knows? At least you would start off as a like work relationship. With these 2 kings coming out, it could be like you and them. So maybe you guys are the same sign or you're the same element. So, I mean, there's a lot of fire here. Maybe like you're both fire signs or you're both earth signs. And you could be the same gender as well, although that's not super important. But I just thought I'd mention it because like 2 kings, you know. With the 9 of Swords, I want to tell you guys, okay, there's a couple messages coming through here. The 9 of Swords can be a kind of scary card, but the scariness is in our thoughts. The scariness is in our head. It's kind of this energy where we are overthinking, we're expecting the worst, we're thinking of all the things that could go wrong. But in reality, or at least how I see it, in reality, everything is fine. So I want to tell you guys right now, if there is something on your mind, whether it's like something you're worried about in the immediate future or something you're worried about in the long-term future, the thing that you are so worried about is either not going to happen or it's not going to be as bad as you thought. So let's say, just for an example, there's a certain virus that you're afraid of getting and you're like so freaking worried about it, like you lose sleep over this fear. Then this card would say either you're not going to get it at all, or you will get it, but it's like it's nothing. It's like you had a sore throat for a day and then you were fine. So like it was nowhere near as disastrous as you thought it was going to be. And the thing with the Nine of Swords is like, it is a bad situation, but like 90% of the badness is the stress that you put yourself through from how much you're worried about it when really it wasn't that bad. So that's one interpretation. But Saturn's also reminding you that no matter how healed you are, no matter how evolved you are on your spiritual journey, no matter how good your life is, everybody has shit mental health days. And resisting that or feeling like there's something wrong about that only makes it worse. So yes, your life is amazing, but you are going to have crappy days where your brain is just not your friend and you feel like crap. And it's almost like Saturn is saying, don't try to fight it, because the more you fight it, the worse it will get. I have anxious tendencies. I used to have frequent anxiety attacks, and it sucks. It's like a vicious cycle where you start to feel anxious and then you're like, oh shit, I'm feeling anxious. Like, I'm going to feel so bad. I'm going to have an anxiety attack. And then you're anxious about being anxious, and then it makes you more anxious. So it's like you create this vicious cycle where it snowballs in your head. And then I'll try telling myself, like, it's okay. I'm just experiencing a bit of anxiety right now. Like, my nervous system is just a bit freaked out right now. It's nothing to worry about. And it's not that I'm like dismissing my anxiety. I'm validating it. I'm acknowledging that it's there, but I'm not catastrophizing it, I think is the right word. And maybe, maybe I'm privileged that I'm able to make my brain do that and like take that control. But when worries come up or when negative thoughts come up, I think just allowing yourself to feel crappy sometimes and not trying to like force yourself to feel positive all the time, admitting when things suck and then getting over it, allowing the negative thoughts to exist and then pass away is your advice from Saturn. Okay, so we're going to move into the final oracle cards now. These will be just last messages or advice, anything that you should know for this period. So from the Celestial Bodies Oracle, we have Black Moon Lilith, which I think fits very well. I don't know if I'm going to talk too much about this one because I think that it is just a reiteration of embracing your shadow side. But there's also a message that your sensitivity can change the world. Your gentleness can change the world. But you might need this commander as a vehicle to get out there into the world so that you can change it. So, for example, maybe you have these beautiful thoughts that could change the world, that could heal people, and you want to write a book. So it's the soft pearl version of you who writes the book, but it's the commander who fights for that book to get out there, who fights for that book to get in stores, who fights for people to listen to you so that your soft, beautiful message can get out there. When they are friends, when they work together, there is nothing that they can't do. Your biggest assignment is to think, this sounds weird, but think of the parts of you that you dislike the most, and then challenge yourself to see them as things that serve you, to see them as things that are there for a reason, to see them as things that will help you in your calling and that will truly leave a positive impact on the world if you use it right. One of these is, this one is Soul Whispers, I think. Oh gosh, it's Soul Whispers and Cosmic Guidance. They're both by the same creator. They're both going to be linked down below. I think this one is Cosmic Guidance, actually. We have rest. Give yourself time to recuperate. So you're definitely going to be working very, very hard during this period. But sleep is very important. If you study for an exam and you stay up all night studying, you will do worse on that exam than if you stopped at a good time and allowed yourself to have a full night's sleep. Because as much as you may have spent that time cramming, your brain is going to be severely exhausted and you're not going to be able to focus. Sleep and rest is very important for productivity. I literally took a nap before I started to film this reading. And I did have that inner dialogue of like, I'm feeling kind of tired. No, let's just start filming. Let's just push through it. But my sleepiness prevailed and I took a nap. And that was probably for the best, because if I forced myself to film when I was tired, I would not have done a good job. So I think if you ever feel guilty for resting, you can think of rest as a form of productivity. Although, I want to be clear, you're very much allowed to rest just because you feel like it and it feels good. It doesn't have to be for productivity reasons. But yes, remember to rest. And then we have use your power. Oh my gosh. This is like literally what I was talking about with like, you need the commander so that the pearl's sensitivity and gentleness can be shared with the world. Use your power to bring this world love and peace. Yes, tigers could be an important spirit animal for you guys, or someone born in the year of the tiger could be significant. The year of the tiger is actually just last year. 2022 was the year of the tiger, wasn't it? Yeah. 2010, 1998, 1986, 1974, 1962, and you just keep going back 12 years. Someone born in that year could be significant. We also have the number 17, which makes me think of the star. So Saturn wants you to know that your future is going to be very bright. You're going to bring, and this field that you're becoming an expert in, you're bringing something new and fresh and innovative to it that people so desperately need. You're going to be like a breath of fresh air or like a long drink of water after a drought in this field. And maybe it's the sensitive touch that you're bringing. Maybe it's the space for the heart that you're bringing into it. We have rest twice, so clearly that's very, very important. Work hard and then rest, and then work hard again and then rest again. Take frequent breaks. You might actually find that taking frequent breaks makes you a lot more productive, a lot less tired at the end of the day. It allows you to be more focused. I take a lot of freaking breaks when I'm working, when I'm filming. It just allow yourself that time to recharge. Even like when I'm running, I notice that if I allow myself to slow down or even walk, like just for 30 seconds, just for a minute, then when I get back to running, it's like I'm revamped. I can run a lot better than if I forced myself to push through. So I guess work hard, but don't force yourself to push through when you're really feeling tired. You might find that rest is like the very thing you need to like get back in it. Yeah. Enjoy your rest, enjoy your sleep. I want to say that you deserve rest, but I'm reluctant because rest is not something that you need to earn. Like, you are entitled to rest whenever you feel like it. And if anyone ever made you feel bad for how many breaks you take or how much you sleep or how slowly you get things done, then with peace and love, they can go fly a kite. Okay? All right. Group number 2s, those are all the messages I have for you. So I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. And thank you to Tarot Stack for providing these beautiful decks. Thank you to the creators for making these beautiful decks. If you like any of these, remember that they will be linked down below for you. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, you can check out my pick a card readings on Instagram, many of which are timeless. You can check out my pick a card videos on Patreon, which are just like these, except you get to choose the topic for them. You can check out my music on my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video that is an original song. You can also check out my vlog channel, which is KINO Vlogs, and you can check out my merch at kinotarot.com, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video, and we have it on hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, and tote bags. So that is a lot of stuff, but all the stuff that I just mentioned is going to be linked down below for you in the description as well as in the pinned comment. Thank you so much for supporting me and for supporting my channel. It truly means a lot to me. Group number 2s, I'm sending you so much love to your loved ones, to your amazing partner, to all of the aspects of you. I send love to every single part of you, even those that you may be ashamed of or feel like are wrong or bad. I promise that they are not. They are waiting to come out and kick ass. And I'm also sending love to your spirit guides and your whole spiritual team, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi, number 3s. So if you guys chose the Angelite moon, this is going to be a reading all about predictions for the period that Saturn is in the sign of Pisces. We have a lot of different decks that we're going to be using today. I'm going to start off with some oracle cards, then we're going to move into the tarot, and then back into some more oracle cards to get you guys a lot of messages. And I wanted to mention that all of the decks that are being used today are available on Tarot Stack. If you guys don't know, Tarot Stack is an online shop that has a wide range of indie tarot and oracle decks, and they also help indie deck creators get their projects released. So I really love what they do. And if you guys want to support them, support the deck creators, and support this channel, the affiliate links for all of these decks are going to be listed down below in the description. So without further ado, let's get right into it. We're going to start off this reading with a card from the Cosmovisions Oracle, and this card is going to represent you, and it's also going to represent a major theme of this 3-year period that Saturn wants you to know about. I just saw 111, by the way. So your card is the 10 of Trees. I'm going to look at the guidebook for this one because this deck is associated with the traditional tarot, but it's a little bit different, and I'm not super familiar with it yet. So the 10 of Trees, the mirror card of this card is the 10 of Pentacles, and the keywords are fulfillment and dreams coming true. The full moon beams in the night sky, illuminating the gargantuan tree that has overtaken the jeweled tower. Complete fusion between the rapidly growing tree and the tower has created a hybrid of beauty. The jeweled tower supporting the colossal tree, and the tree offering shade from the harshness of day. While we find ourselves back in the desert, we now have the foundation and determination to overcome adversity, knowing that hardships can be made easier by working together. Through the suit of trees, we witness mankind working to coexist with nature. The jeweled tower is a card that speaks to fulfillment of dreams. When it shows up, it is a sign that this true joy is sitting there ready for you to grab it. This can be a greater feeling than any material possessions could bring you. This is a time to rejoice and enjoy the simplicity of feeling fulfilled. And this passage is on page 94, in case this is a relevant number for you guys. one thing I wanted to say, it's not necessarily to do with the passage, but just something that I felt intuitively while reading it. During this period, you are going to be on the right path and going in the right direction without even really thinking about it. And I almost want to say that when it comes to making decisions during this period, the less thinking, the better. Because I just feel like the energy that you're in, and I want to be careful, like let's not be reckless and impulsive, but what I want to say is the feeling or the idea that your gut gives you right off the bat is usually the right answer. And the more you think about it and the more you turn it over in your head and the more you entertain all of these what ifs and alternate possibilities, it's like you get farther and farther away from your truth. I guess what Saturn really wants to tell you is that the right answer for you is usually what the instinct that you get initially, what your gut tells you the first time. Go with that initial gut feeling and you will never go astray. Okay? Especially during these 3 years. You will just go the right way and go down the right path without even thinking about it. You will prove that to yourself over and over again that, oh, my intuition was right all along. My gut was right in the first place. Reading this passage, I think the idea of this deck is that as you go through the suits, you're going through a journey. And in this card, we seem to be in a desert, but we were still able to create abundance because we work together. And I think that's something you're going to be feeling a lot during this period is that a lot of things about life can suck, but it's the people you're with that can make it beautiful. And I'm thinking of that saying, like, the real treasure was the friends we made along the way. And I think that as you come out of this 3-year period, that's something that you're really going to feel. Like, there were a lot of shitty times, but I spent those shitty times with the most amazing people. And I think we made something pretty freaking cool out of it. And I wouldn't change it for the world. I think that you're building something. We'll probably get into it in later cards, but you are building something very meaningful in the next 3 years with a person or people that you care about very deeply. We have fulfillment and dreams coming true. So let's get into some other oracle cards. From the Ocean Dreams Oracle, we have Luminous Path. So again, very strong indication for you guys that you are on the right path. You are building your life right now on a solid foundation. And that means that it's safe to keep going forward. Because what I see in these cards is I see these pillars standing tall and I see this tower standing tall. You guys might be familiar with the tower card in tarot. It's like a tower that is getting hit by lightning and I think it's on fire and it's falling over. There's people falling out of the tower. It's kind of a scary card that represents a scary time in our life. But tower moments happen when the situation that is falling apart was not built on a solid foundation. It was bound to come down. And usually you can tell when the foundation is shaky in the early stages of something. But if you ignore it and you keep going, the tower is going to get taller and taller and taller, and it's going to start swaying more and more and more until inevitably it falls over. However, if you're building your tower on a sturdy foundation, it's not going to fall over. It's going to keep growing strong and tall and beautiful. And so what Saturn wants you to know right now is that the things that you are building right now, the foundation is strong. You have made a right choice with what you are choosing to invest your efforts and energy in, and Saturn wants you to keep going during these 3 years. It's gonna be a kind of long process, but it will be fulfilling. There will be challenges, but there will always be people around you who love you to either help you overcome the challenges or just sit there with you and ride out the storm with you. Because there is that feeling of there's going to be some crappy times during this period, as you know, such is life. But because of the people you're with going through those tough times, when you look back, it's almost like a beautiful memory. Like, oh yeah, we've been through it all together. We've been through thick and thin together. So just to give a concrete example of this energy, let's say you have like a person of interest or a person you're involved with right now. And this is Saturn wanting you to know that this is a good match for you. This is a good partnership. This person has good intentions. Keep building with them. And over the next 3 years, you might have some hard times with this person. You might have some arguments. There might be times where you're really upset with each other. There might be times where you're physically separated. There might be times where you worry about the future of the relationship. There will be challenges, but you will always overcome them together. So keep going, because you're gonna build it into something beautiful. And also, I think that when you have love and connection, you can make something beautiful even out of the worst circumstances. The feeling of this card is like we're in a desert, but we're building something so lush and beautiful, and nature and mankind are working together. When we work together, we can make something beautiful. And even if the journey is tough, the treasure is the connections you built along the way, and you won't trade it for anything. Whatever path you're going down, it's worth the challenges. It's worth the struggle. Same thing goes, of course, for like professional matters. If you're walking down a certain career path, if you're walking down a certain education path, or you are considering going down a new path, Saturn is confirming to you, this is the right path. Keep going. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying you're going to enjoy it all the time, but it is the right path. It's the path that will serve you the most, that will contribute the most to your personal growth, to your spiritual development. I'm very pleased with this path for you. Okay, now from the Pixie Oracle, wow, we have offerings. You guys, whatever you're doing, I'm hearing like it's very beautiful. Now, that could be talking about something that is visually beautiful or aesthetically beautiful if you are like making art or if you're building something. But I feel more like not just Saturn, but also some higher power, some deities are very pleased with the path that you have chosen, because it's not only serving you, but it's going to serve many, because the effects of what you're doing are going to ripple out. And because of the path that you've chosen, you will receive some kind of gifts or rewards. How do I put this? Outside of the direct payout of what you're doing. Kind of like getting a tip or a bonus. So, if you're an employee at a company and you make a certain hourly wage, it means that you're getting an offering like outside of the wage. You didn't work for this. It was just a bonus offering that was given to you. So you might find that in the next 3 years, you have a lot of luck. So like, even if you're going through a tough time, there's these little moments of good luck that are sprinkled throughout your life that just remind you, like, we've got your back, we're on your side, all of this is happening for your highest good. And it's funny, before I started filming, I have these like astrodice. I have a couple here as well. And one of them fell on the floor, and it fell like with Saturn facing up. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so fitting, because like this reading is about Saturn. What are the odds of that? And it's kind of reminding me of this energy and this good luck that's kind of going to be following you for the next 3 years. Things that are like, oh my gosh, what are the odds of that? What are the odds of this good thing happening will happen to you? So, for example, there's the vending machines at my school. Every now and then, like, it does this thing where it like generates a number, and if it's like 7777 or like repeating numbers, then you get a free bottle. And it like never happens. So you would have good luck with things like that. Or like there's one open parking space and it's like right in front of the place you're trying to go, or like you're getting crazy discounts on things, you're getting like freebies, you're getting gifts, just these little things. Like it's nothing huge, right? But it's these little things in your day-to-day life that remind you we are with you. Because when there's like a 1% chance of you winning something or making it somewhere, like we make it happen. Oh my gosh, I'm so lucky. What were the chances of that happening? And because you know that, okay, these higher powers are working in my favor, they're helping me out, then you can also know that whatever struggles I'm going through right now will help me out and will be for my highest good. And they're always going to remind you that they're always there. And even like with human connections in your life, that is a big thing for this period, that you're never alone. Like you're never going to feel forgotten by the universe. You're never going to feel like, oh, I have to go through this struggle alone. You will always have someone with you. You'll have loved ones going through it with you, supporting you. You'll have higher powers helping you. There's a couple, at least 2 deities who want to work with you. And if you bring some sort of offering to them, it will sort of initiate that. It's almost like they've been wanting to get your attention, but you need to show your interest, or you need to almost like give them permission. Well, I don't know, give them permission, but give that sign of like, I want to start working with you. I want to go forward with this partnership. And giving them some sort of offering will be a sign of that. This God might appear, you know how humans, we have like the depictions of deities. They might present as an animal. Yeah. Okay. And we have self-care. So, and now this kind of takes on a different meaning, like offerings that you give to yourself. In the next 3 years, the same way these higher powers in the universe are going to be plopping, sprinkling little presents into your life, do the same thing for yourself. Do things simply for the purpose of boosting your mood and making yourself happy. Do things for your self-care that are not necessarily practical, but just make you feel good. So maybe there's a stuffed duck that is very cute and it's very impractical. You have no use for it. You don't know where you're going to put it in your house, but it is so freaking adorable and it makes you very happy. Get yourself the freaking duck, or just do little things. Sprinkle your own life with little presents to yourself, because the same way when higher powers do this for you, they're trying to tell you, I'm here, I have your back. When you do these little things for yourself, you reaffirm in your brain over and over, I'm here for me, I have my back, I have my best interest, I love me, I want me to be happy. You become your own best friend. Of course, look out for yourself in other more practical ways too, but it's just a way of taking steps to make yourself happy and reminding yourself that you're allowed to just have pure enjoyment and pleasure that is only for the purpose of pleasure. Doesn't necessarily have to lead to something more or have a super practical use. Especially with the things that you surround yourself with. Surround yourself with pretty things. Surround yourself with aesthetic things. In the next 3 years, you might develop a passion for like fashion or aesthetics or design. Or if you already have a passion like that, you may be acting on it a lot or deepening that passion. You might find that you start to dress differently or decorate your home or put fresh flowers in your home or buy cool art or cool furniture for your home, get shiny things, get new accessories. Enjoy those kind of pleasures, like aesthetic pleasures and the pleasure of treating yourself. And express gratitude for having these beautiful things around you, and it will create more beauty in your life. It sounds kind of cheesy, but it is true. When we show gratitude for something, we're, actively focusing on it. And whatever we focus on, our brain will learn to look for more of that in our life. We can teach our brain to look for things more. So if you focus more on beauty, you will see more beauty. Yes. Focus on the beauty in yourself too. Because you are very beautiful. Okay, so let's get into your tarot now. We're going to be using the Soul Tarot. And these messages could be elaborating on what we've talked about here, or we could be getting completely brand new messages. But let's go deeper into what you'll be experiencing during these 3 years. What will group number 3 be experiencing during these 3 years while Saturn is in Pisces? We have the Wheel of Fortune, so there's your luck. There's you guys being very lucky. Also, I want to say, any hard time that you go through is not going to last long. Hard times cannot last forever. The same way we can't go down on the Wheel of Fortune forever. We have to come back up, And maybe, I think something that is changing within you or really solidifying within your mindset is having a healthy detachment from basically everything. When things are going very well, okay, it's not going to be like this forever, so let's not get cocky. When things are going very bad, it's not going to be like this forever, so let's not get depressed about it or let's not feel doomed. Let's just take all the seasons of life as they come, because nothing lasts forever. And I almost feel like if you guys are, no, actually, even it doesn't matter if you're single or not, but I just wanted to say I feel like that could really positively impact your relationships. If you're with a friend or with a lover or whatever it might be, I feel like being so attached to, are we going to last forever? What if we don't last forever? I need to feel secure in that we're going to be together forever. It can put strain on the relationship, or it can just make you not enjoy being with the person because you're so busy worrying about stuff. And I think Saturn is helping you, teaching you to stop worrying about the future in some way during this period, so that whatever you're experiencing, you're like, this might last a really long time, it might last a short time, it might last close to forever. But what I do know for sure is that I'm having this experience right here, right now, and I'm going to enjoy it. You're healing like a worry about the future. You're going to also find synchronicities just happening like crazy. You will be guided by synchronicities. You could literally just be like, universe, take the wheel. Show me signs and synchronicities to guide me. And synchronicities will literally guide you through your life. They will let you know when something is important. They will let you know what to pay attention to. And on that note, you know, with healthy detachment, I also feel, and I've done this too, like getting crazy attached to what a sign means or what a synchronicity means. Like if there's a lot of synchronicity surrounding a certain person, I would be like, what does this mean? Like, does this mean they're my soulmate? Does this mean I'm going to end up with them? Like, what does it mean? What am I going to do with them? And I feel like you're moving from that kind of mindset to just like, okay, universe, I see that you've given me this information. I see that this person is significant. So I will keep that in mind. You're showing me that to pay attention to this person, that they're significant. That's the information that you've given me for now. So to find out the rest, I will live my life and see how it unfolds. So synchronicities and signs are not necessarily meant to give everything away, but just to show you, hey, look over here, pay attention to this, invest your energy in this is important. And so we're going to act on those signs and messages without obsessing about what they ultimately mean, if that makes sense. And Saturn is saying if you live that way, your life is going to be very fulfilling and also very fun. And you're going to be really reassured during this time that you are divinely guided and protected. Oh, and back to that deity message about an animal. It doesn't necessarily have to be an animal that exists on Earth, but just like a creature. It could also be some kind of human-animal hybrid. What else is going on for group number 3 when Saturn is in Pisces? Ooh, we have the King of Wands. So you really are like, this also might sound kind of cheesy, but your perspective is shifting to really see your life like a work of art, and you are the artist. You're really going to see your life as a beautiful work of art. I think that this period is going to bring a lot of creativity into your life. Many of you guys will be making art or being very creative in some way during this time. Or you could also be appreciating others' creations a lot. Or both, obviously. I also think that you're going to bump into or meet formally an artist that you really look up to. I don't know, it could just be one encounter, very brief, or you could have like some back and forth with them, I'm not sure. But with Wheel of Fortune, I often think of this as like fated encounters. And, you know, we've spoken that you're being very lucky during this period. And then I think of the King of Wands as like a very creative person, a successful person, someone we look up to. So I think that's where that message appeared from. But I also think you are becoming this King of Wands. You're living your life as if it were a work of art. And I think that's why you're embracing all the good and the bad. You know, the best movies do have some, you know, they have tension and then a release of the tension. They have ups and downs. We laugh and cry. I feel like the best works of art, they make us feel a whole range of emotions. And the sign of a good artist, or I mean, not necessarily, but a sign of a good artist is someone who can make us feel a lot of different things, who taps into all of our emotions. And so if you think of your life that way, like a beautiful life is one where you get to experience everything. Like the good, the bad, and everything in between. Like you see the beauty in all of it, which I think is very empowering. Saturn is saying you're in your power when you don't resist like any chapter, any season of your life. But at the same time, the King of Wands is in charge of his life. And so remember that if there's something in your life that you don't like, you can change it because you are the artist and you can make it whatever you want. Some of you guys will be having a lot more freedom during this period, more freedom in your schedule. Some of you will be able to, like if this is something you want, you may have a profession where you can, wake up whenever you want, work whenever you want, or choose not to work on a day if you don't feel like it, or work from wherever you want. So for example, maybe you do work in a company and you have a schedule, but it becomes online. So you can travel or like you can move somewhere else and still keep your job. There's some kind of freedom that is being granted to you, that it's either freedom of time or freedom of your geographical location, or both. And if you're working in a company, you could be promoted to more like a director position, a manager position. You get to call the shots. Because King of Wands, it is like, the main person in charge, the leader. Well, I guess kings in general. You also could be, I feel like this is more for a few of you. You could be getting into some kind of sport during this period, whether you're doing the sport or you're really into watching it. And I mean, that's very broad, right? So maybe it's for more of you than I originally thought. You could start playing soccer with your friends on the weekends just for fun, or you could join a volleyball team, or you could get really into watching figure skating. Like you're enjoying some kind of sport, or you could be dating or have a very close relationship with an athlete or like a huge sports fan. I'm also, I don't know why, but like alcohol in some way has like come up in all of the piles. For group 1 and 2, there was messages about like someone is quitting drinking, but then for this group, I have like the distinct aroma and like flavor and mouthfeel of like a dryish red wine that tastes like fancy. It tastes expensive. So you're drinking that, or maybe somebody close to you likes that. I don't know. You're sipping it in a candlelit room. It's elegant. It could be more like, ooh, maybe red wine is like an offering that you could give a deity or something like that. But it could also be metaphorical of living a more elevated lifestyle, more elegant lifestyle. I think you're enjoying treating yourself during this period and enjoying the finer things in life. Saturn is encouraging you guys to take long walks. This will be almost like a meditative practice for you. It will be the best way to clear your thoughts. It will be the best way to get downloads. especially outside, I guess, as opposed to like a treadmill or something. Ooh. So we have two coming out together. We have the Tower that came out for some group as well. We have the Tower and we have the Five of Wands. There's a message of build slowly. I'm thinking of the tortoise and the hare when I look at these two cards together for some reason. You know, slow and steady wins the race. The hare speeds off and then gets cocky and is like, oh, like, actually, I don't remember this fable very well, but I think the hare is like, oh, I'm definitely going to win. That tortoise is so slow. Let me just take a nap. And then while the hare is napping, the tortoise wins the race. There's a message here about you like beating your competition or catching up to your competition or even lapping your competition because you took your time to build a solid foundation and they didn't. So at first it looked like they were making a lot of progress, but now their tower is falling down. And I'm not saying this to be like, haha, but maybe this is giving you perspective in some way. That at one point you might have felt behind in life, or you might have felt envious when it seemed like people around you had more or were getting more ahead. And you might have compared yourself to them. You might have felt like you were in competition with them. And Saturn is saying either don't get caught up in thinking like that, or it's good that you didn't get caught up in that kind of thinking. Because in the end of the day, you'll find that you were correct for taking your time and building a solid foundation, and you will actually win the race, so to speak, even though it's not a race. But, you know, I guess an example of this is like maybe, and it's so hard to talk about it because I'm not trying to be like, oh, see, you were better than them anyway, or like, haha, like it's not like that. But I think it's just a moment to get perspective that things are not always as they seem. Like, for example, maybe someone you know, it seemed like they were making a ton of money and becoming very successful, and you're like, wow, I should really be on their level. And then like years later come to find out that they were like taking a bunch of loans or doing something shady. So their business practices were not on a solid foundation. So yes, they soared very high for some time, but now they fell. And Saturn is like, let that be an example of why you should take things slow. You will, I guess it's not like competition, but you will prevail in the end. You will stand out in the end for your honest work, for your humble work. You may also see there's a feeling of like lapping people. It's like you might see relationships that got together before you are like falling apart because they rushed into it hastily, whereas like you took your time to really find the right person. You will never be at a loss for taking your time and building a lot of reinforcement and building a strong foundation. The fastest progress is not necessarily the best and is not necessarily rewarded. And maybe this is like also like a quality over quantity message. Even I noticed like for the other groups, I just laid out all the cards at once, but for you guys, I'm going one by one. It's like we're living in each and every moment. We're taking it slow. I'm gonna take one more and we'll also look at the bottom of the deck energy. We have the Seven of Cups, and then at the bottom we have the Eight of Wands. So there's gonna reach a point, it's like you're building slowly, you're building slowly, you're building slowly, and then the energy just reaches a tipping point, and then things start to accelerate in your life. And I feel like this will be more towards the end of this period. So it's like for 3 years, you are building up something slowly, humbly, modestly, earnestly, and then it reaches a tipping point, and then all of a sudden you just get a huge windfall, a huge flow of abundance. Because the Eight of Wands is like, it gives me the feeling of a bunch of things manifesting quickly all at once. So just one example, like you're building up a business slowly, slowly, slowly. You're making very slow progress, but you're being very consistent. And then something just like a switch goes off, and all of a sudden you're soaring. And all of this work that you did before that is so important. I was just watching, it was a Chloe Taylor reading. I feel like I've mentioned her a couple times recently. I love Chloe Taylor's readings. But she was giving some advice to me in the group that I picked, which I think could be relevant for you guys too. It's like, even if you don't see, and I might be changing the message a bit, but even if you don't see your hard work bearing fruit right away, that consistency is so key, because eventually all of that work that you did will like retroactively pay off. So like, for example, like let's say you're a YouTuber and you're not really getting a lot of traffic to your channel, but still you consistently put out a video once a week, and now you have a collection of like 50 videos or even 100 videos. And then, oh yeah, I think this was actually like an example that Chloe gave. And then you have that one video that goes viral. If you only had that one video, then you would just have your moment of virality and then it would die out, because people don't have anything else to look at from you. They don't have anything else to like consume. They don't know anything else about you. But if you have that one video that goes viral, then you have this whole collection of 100 videos, and now everyone's going to go back and look at those, and you will get the traffic on those. So something like that, something that mirrors that kind of energy is happening for you during this 3-year period, where you're slowly putting effort into something, slowly building something up. It's showing modest results, but then you just hit gold. And it could be, you know, someone noticing you. It could be some resources that you get your hands on, that now all of this stuff that you work to build, you can really bring it to life. You have this collection, or you have this, all of this like culmination of your hard work that now can finally be, it can finally have its time to shine, is what I want to say. And it will happen suddenly. So we're going from like a slow build to like whoosh. And because you took the time to slow build, this whoosh will be sustained. I hope that that makes sense. And it's going to feel surreal when it happens. It's going to feel like a dream. And another way I can interpret this, because the Eight of Wands can also talk about communication from coming in, Seven of Cups, I'm reading it as a dreamy energy in this case. These higher powers that we've been talking about, these deities will communicate to you through dreams. And actually you may discover, if you don't know who they are yet, you may discover through a dream, because they will come to you in the same form that most people depict them. You know, so let's say there's a certain angel and they're depicted in like popular culture as having like golden hair and blue eyes and these big white wings and a white robe. Like, they would appear to you exactly how humans depict them, so that you know right away that it's them. Even though they might take on a lot of other forms or not really have a physical form, they know how to present to you so that you will recognize them. Okay, so let's take a look at our final oracle cards now to get some last messages and advice for you. We have 3. Okay, so yeah, I feel like out of this 3-year period, like the 3rd year is gonna be like the biggest growth. It's gonna be a slow burn for sure. 3 could be your lucky number as well. So you might see repeating 3s. Could also be a sign that there's 3 higher powers who wanna introduce themselves to you. Or maybe it's like 2 and you're the 3rd one. You're the 3rd power. We have breathe, inhale, exhale, create space within. So the divine, at least during this time, that's not true though, because you are getting a lot of signs and synchronicities out there in the world. But I was gonna say that the divine will communicate a lot to you from like within you. So through sensations, through things that you hear, through telepathy. So I guess don't neglect either. They'll be communicating with you in the outside world and also within you. And valuable messages will come through in both ways. I think meditation is important for this group. This person is clearly meditating. If you are not really good at that type of meditating that's like sitting still, then I would suggest walking as a form of meditation, like clearing your mind. I personally am better at, I guess, yeah, screw it. I'm gonna call it meditation. I feel like I meditate when I'm running because it does just shut off my mind and from like the everyday chatter, because I literally cannot think of anything except like keep moving my legs and keep breathing. That's all I can think about. And then that's when downloads can kind of flow in. I feel like every time I run, I have some kind of realization about life or something clicks for me. So don't stress if you're not good at this kind of like sitting down meditation. You can walk, you can run. And if you don't like walking and running, don't stress, because you can do this kind of meditation. This was the Cosmic Guidance Oracle, and from the Soul Whispers Oracle, we have, are you treating your inner child with kindness, patience, and love? When was the last time you felt childlike wonder and joy? We spoke about surrounding yourself with nice things, and I want to say now, like, treat your inner child as well. Because I feel like when we grow up, we just start to be more practical. We can get kind of boring as adults. Do things that your inner child would enjoy. I feel like your inner child is in a really good place right now, or they will be in a really good place in this period. They'll feel safe and protected, and they'll want to come out and play with you. And you know, we spoke about like treating yourself and getting yourself nice things. These might be things that are nostalgic for you, things that you enjoyed as a child, that maybe your adult brain tells you like, oh, this is for kids, but let yourself enjoy it if you enjoy it. Maybe you're gonna play a game that you really liked playing as a kid. Maybe you're gonna bring out the Pokemon, or you're gonna bring out the Super Mario Bros, or you're gonna, well, actually adults play that, but something you enjoyed as a child, you know? Maybe you're gonna buy your favorite sugary snack every now and then. Even though you're a responsible adult who takes their vitamins, you're gonna get some Dunkaroos and enjoy them and not feel bad about it. Or you're gonna get fluffy pajamas, even though it might look silly on a grown person. You don't care. You're having fun with your inner child. If there are children in your life, like your own children or children of a loved one, spending time with them could help you embody this playful energy as well, and remind you that like just because you're a grown-up, you can still give yourself permission to enjoy these things. And that's really nice coming from Saturn, you know? Thanks, Saturn. Because I imagine him as like a a snotty old man. No offense. But I don't really imagine him as like the playful child, but maybe he's coming around. And oh, I should also mention with the number 3, maybe like Saturn is going to be in your 3rd house. So maybe you're a Capricorn rising, or like Saturn is going to be affecting your 3rd house in some way. And look at this, your final card from the Inquire Within Oracle. I think this is the only group that I like remembered to say all the deck names. Oh, this is the Vessel Oracle. But I think, oh, this is the Celestial Bodies Oracle. Never mind, I might have forgotten some. I was trying to say the names, but when I'm in the zone, I forget sometimes. Anyway, they're all going to be linked down below in order of appearance. But didn't I say, like, you're embracing that nothing lasts forever? And I think also you're allowing yourself, like, to change. You're allowing yourself to change your mind. Allowing yourself to change what you believe as well. Like, if you find a truth that resonates more with you, you're allowed to change your mind. But I think sometimes us humans don't like doing that. I think once we have a belief, we like to just seek out information that fits that belief, because if we dismantle that belief, then it's like, what, were we wrong the whole time? Like, that's kind of scary, I think, sometimes. But maybe you're allowing yourself more to change your mind, to open your mind to other perspectives. Like an example that's coming to my mind, like, I'll just expose myself. Like, there was this person who I thought was my soulmate for like quite some time. And even after I got over them, I still wanted to hold on to like, oh, like, no, they are my soulmate. I just got over them. Because if I changed my mind about the connection, it would be like, oh, so I was wrong, you know? Like, and I guess my ego didn't like that. And so now I've just settled for, I don't know. I don't know if that person was a soulmate or not. I know that I learned a lot from feeling drawn to them in that way, and I grew a lot, and I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm okay with not knowing, and I'm okay with changing my mind about the situation. So yeah, being okay with not knowing the end outcome, being okay that not everything might last forever, but I'll enjoy it while it's here now. And allowing yourself to change your mind, change your approach. Don't change your path because you're on the right one. I mean, you can change it if you want, because there's probably a lot of right paths for you. That was kind of was that a joke? Was that even funny? Anyway, you're on the right path. Don't give up. And I'll leave it at that. So, group number 3s, those are all the messages I have for you. So I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. And definitely check out the decks if you felt drawn to any of them. Like I said, they're all going to be linked down below. And thank you once again to Tarot Stack for providing these beautiful decks. Thank you to the creators for making these beautiful decks. It's always a pleasure to use them. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, you can find my pick a card readings on Instagram, many of which are timeless. You can check out my pick a card videos on Patreon, which are just like these, except you get to choose the topic for them. You can check out my music channel, which includes the song that was at the beginning of this video. That intro song is an original song. And you can also check out my vlog channel at KINO Vlogs. And you can check out my merch at kinotarot.com, which features the temple that was at the start of this video, and we have that on hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, and tote bags. So all of that stuff that I just mentioned is going to be linked down below for you in the description, as well as in the pinned comment of this video. Thank you so much for supporting me and for supporting my channel. It really means so much to me. You guys enrich my life so much. Group number 3, I'm sending you so much love. much love to your loved ones, to your inner child, to the deities. I send my love and respect and gratitude. And I hope you cultivate a beautiful relationship with them moving forward. Or maybe you already have one, but much love to you guys. And to your spirit guides and your whole spiritual team, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I'm being shown something deep red again, like red wine. It's like deep red or like cranberry, raspberry, like dark red fruits or like a dark red something they want as an offering. Cherry. I'm thinking of like cherry or like, you know, holly has those like red berries. I don't know. Or maybe there's something like that you don't often see in Canada or Japan. Some kind of drink or fruit or berry that I don't know about, that you know about. Yeah, I guess they like dark red. Yeah, so that's all the messages. Love you so much. Thank you for being here. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.